Hey guys, so my research question was what are the optimal resistance training variables for developing speed? And these variables include much of what we've discussed in class, like exercise selection, lifting speed, and periodization. And the focus of my research is mainly on track performance, but most of the basic principles that I discussed can also be applied to other sports. And I also want to note before I begin that speed and power will be used interchangeably. It's kind of implied that exercises that focus on power development will ultimately develop one's overall speed as well. So to begin, the most common theme across most of my sources was the use of squats in a speed development program. And kind of like we've discussed in class in regard to periodization, speed development begins with building a solid strength base. So there was a meta-analysis that was conducted on over 500 subjects, and it found that better back squat strength correlated to faster sprint performance. And another study conducted on 7 elite 400-meter hurdlers found that a better back squat, 1 repetition maximum, was associated with faster sprint performance in 30-meter and 60-meter distances. So I would say that this is pretty convincing evidence that squats are a solid foundational exercise for developing speed. And then there was another one of my sources that looked into the most common resistance training exercises used among professional track and field coaches. And it was found that the basic barbell back squat, along with all of the variations like box squats, weighted squat jumps, deadlift squats, and unilateral squat movements were most commonly used. And actually, the weighted squat jumps were found to improve the back squat 1 repetition maximum, vertical jump performance, and 30-meter sprint time. And while this exercise is more of a plyometric exercise, it does still fall under that squat variation. So this leads me to my next main finding, which was that plyometric training is very effective in improving speed performance. There was a 6-week study conducted on 40 university-level sprinters that found that a plyometric program resulted in significant improvements in speed development. And as we've kind of begun to discuss in class, plyometrics include any exercise that requires someone to exert a large amount of force over a short period of time. So exercises like this include box jumps, bounding, depth jumps, alternating lunge jumps, med ball throws, anything that's very explosive and fast. And at the physiological level, what is happening when you perform these movements is you're improving the efficiency of that stretch shortening cycle within the muscle. So in general, these exercises make you more powerful. And what's unique and convenient about these plyometric exercises is most of them are body weight movements. So a lot of them can be weaved into a weightlifting workout. So for example, you could do a box squat, which is more of a strength-focused movement, and then compound set that with the responsive box jumps so that you're working the athlete at different ends of that force velocity curve to create a good balance. Okay, so moving on to the next most commonly used exercise for speed development would be Olympic lifts and all of its variations. So going back to that article that I previously mentioned that interviewed professional track coaches on their most commonly used exercises for developing speed in their athletes, Olympic lifts were actually in the top 3 most commonly used exercises. And this is because this is a power exercise, meaning that it requires both strength and speed. So it's obvious that these types of exercises will translate to speed outside of the weight room as well. So there's a study conducted on 20 elite footballers that found that a 6-week program that included Olympic lifting improved 30-meter times compared to the control group. And when it comes down to it on the physiological level, again, it kind of ties back to the plyometric training where it's improving that stretch shortening cycle and training the body to move large loads of weight at a very fast rate. So ultimately, that's going to result in significant gains in your speed development. So common lifts for this type of lift include power cleans, hang cleans, snatches, jerks and press, and push presses. And I also want to note that because this is a power exercise, these types of lifts are going to be performed as you're approaching that pre-competition phase after you've already developed your strength base. Okay, so the next variable that I found in regard to speed development is the lifting speed. This is probably the most unique and surprising thing that I discovered while researching. It's kind of still a relatively under-researched area, but I think it could be a valuable variation in exercise selection, especially as an athlete is approaching their competition season and wanting to focus more on power exercises while also wanting to lower their volume of their training. So there was a 3-week study conducted on 48 Division I male athletes that found that a group who performed back squats with lower weight but faster movement speed was found to have significantly greater gains in power development than Group 2, who performed reps with heavier weight and lower speeds. So also both groups developed similar gains in strength, even though one group was using significantly lighter weight, but they were lifting at a much faster rate. So this emphasizes the importance of translating that strength base that is developed early on in the macro cycle to more power-based movements as the season approaches. So just kind of a quick overview, squats, plyometrics, and Olympic lifts are the most commonly used and most effective exercises for a speed development program. Along with this, lifting speed has also shown to be a promising variable in an exercise program for speed, especially as an athlete nears their competition season. In terms of how to combine these movements, most coaches agree that something called complex training is most effective. And complex training just means a combination of strength-focused exercises like back squats and power-based exercises like plyometrics and Olympic lifts. It was also agreed upon by most speed development coaches that it's important to begin with a strength base and work across the entire force-velocity curve. And these are all concepts that we have been learning in class, and I think it just goes to show that in terms of developing speed, it seems that exercise selection is the most important variable. In terms of periodization, reps, sets, that's all going to follow the basic training principles that we've learned in class. It's not going to be some unique, special, different form specifically for speed development. It's going to follow those same basic principles. All right, and just to provide you with a nice broad overview of everything I went over, a high strength base is essential for speed development, and it's been found that squats, and along with all of its variations, are a good option for this. Also, the 3 most effective categories of exercises for speed development are squats and its variations, plyometrics, and Olympic lifts. Next, lifting speed could have a positive correlation to power development, and I think is something that should be considered in a program, especially as that athlete nears their competition season. And then lastly, complex training, which entails a combination of everything discussed, Olympic lifts, plyometrics, strength movements, seems to be the most effective means for training speed. And that's all I have. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it.